Hey traders, Ivan here. So in this video I want to be discussing the TT or trap traders pattern. This is a pattern that involves the psychology of money flows. It is one that more often than not is going to be putting us on the right side of the market, and if you first and foremost identify the right contextual setting, you are in for a pattern that is rather predictable, but as I said, it is conditional to be taken at the right place, under the right context, and with the right formation. Now, it is no secret, unless you've been living under a rock or you don't follow cryptos, that Ethereum US dollar has been on a tear. It has been actually rising very consistently from around the 1,750 all the way to more than 3,000 US dollars in valuation. Now, what is interesting about this market is that the TT pattern has showed up over the last 3 days very consistently. So we are talking about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. Now, in this video, I want to provide a brief summary of what it is that this pattern looks like, its power to actually be acting as a springboard that is going to be taking us to new price discovery terrains. Now, the TT setup, the one that I'm going to be talking briefly today, should be really seen as a repetitive pattern that serves the purpose of communicating that the market, for whatever reason, was compelled to deliver prices to a certain location, collect liquidity before the true movement in the opposite direction in line with the dominant trend occurred. When you take this trade, as I said, under the right context, and you are identifying that the formation is pristine and high quality, this is something obviously that I touch on my course, then you can definitely exploit this concept of what I call the meta games, which is nothing more than understanding the hidden rules within the game. Understanding these rules, what I also refer to as the psychology of money flows, realizing and recognizing that the market at the end of the day is a constant and ongoing auction process, and the collection of liquidity is what it's all about. Whenever you see this constant waxing and waning, you can either be completely having your attention completely dispersed, not understanding what's going on, or by taking my course, you can also come to understand why certain things and certain dynamics occur in the market. With that being said, let me break down in a brief remarks what this TT pattern entails and the explosive movements that you can see playing out right after its identification. So Ethereum US dollar, you will notice here that we had a rather corrective pullback. Notice that the impulsiveness of this leg up was comparably much stronger than this very slow bleed type of slow movement towards the downside. Now, whenever we are presented with a market that is moving in such a manner and we see the pattern essentially is going to entail that the market has been printing a series of lows in an uptrend. We take out these lows, and then from that moment that we have that, the market may have that perception that we are moving into lower territory by breaking the lows. The market, as I said, these type of structures are rather cunning and deceiving for those that have taken the opposite side. And notice that we have a complete rotation towards the opposite direction. What that essentially does, and what it translates into, is that those sellers are going to be trapped in these short positions, and they most likely are going to be looking to get positions out for minimal damage. Therefore, whenever we have this type of pattern, an entry around this point, what we call the FT1, and that's the origin of that supply that led to the eventual breakout and fade movement, that's going to be an excellent position, an excellent location for those that have been looking to re-engage in this dominant trend that, as you can see, through the daily, through the 6 hours, and also through the 15-minute, is very clearly anchored towards the upside. So right here, that's where you enter your positions and expecting that there's going to be an upside movement resumption of that trend. So that's just one example, but if we actually move forward, you will notice that the exact same pattern repeats itself. We have a very strong impulsive movement followed by a very corrective one. Within this corrective movement, this is what I call a compression type of pattern with at least 3 legs. In this case we had 4 legs or drives right here, notice, and eventually we have the break of a structure towards the opposite direction. Whenever that happens, you have to identify what is the point in the chart that led to that ultimate supply before the fake out. And right here, that is the point. That is when where you're looking to actually get into this market, expecting that there's going to be a reception towards the opposing liquidity right there, just ahead the 3,000 Ethereum round number. Eventually, that is what plays out. And right before our own eyes, right here, it is happening once again. Notice that here, the market, this time the correction was definitely much deeper, but notice that our proprietary indicators, as part of the mentor course, you will have access to these indicators. The majority of them are still showing upside bias, upside momentum through a combination of different time frames. Whenever that happens, what I want to emphasize here is once again, first detect that supply that came off the market has been taken out. So notice that this is the leg, the last leg that led to the breakout prior to these highs being taken out. Once again, whenever that happens, you want to identify what was the point in the chart that led to that ultimate breakout lower before the full rotation back in the opposite direction. And if you actually look closer, we have here what I call a hidden FT1. This hidden FT1 is going to be acting as a support on the way down many times over. And so you want to be identifying that this area would be rather pristine if you're looking to get into a position on the opposite side of this breakout lower. Notice that eventually that's what has occurred. And not only that, but you will see that once the market started to find further buy side pressure of these lows following this breakout of structure, these wicks right here were rather revealing that the market was gearing up for that ultimate move towards what I would be expecting to be a takeout of the opposite liquidity. All right, so this is what the TT is about, understanding the psychology of money flows, how the market is a constant mechanism that is going to be collecting liquidity. Then you obviously have to recognize what has been the side that has been exerting control of this market, in particular Ethereum US dollar. Remember that last week we had the London hard fork in terms of the consequences and the ramification that this has in Ethereum is very bullish. It is actually going to be looking to stabilize the fees. It's going to be looking to also burn Ethereum. Therefore, there are prospects for the supply of the asset, the supply of the token, to actually be reducing over time. So again, the price action has been reflecting this bullishness, and through the lower time frames, we can exploit these dynamics, this constant collection of liquidity by the virtue of the TT, or the trap traders pattern, one that is, at the core of the course that I put together, and is one of the signature setups that I'm teaching students of the course. We are constantly looking for these type of setups to be exploitable, and there's definitely a lot more to it. We have to always emphasize that a market is going to be conducive to be tradable through first the identification of the context that we in. Are we in a trend? Are we in a range? What type of volatility are we facing? But for the most part, this should give you a pretty dang good idea of what the TT is about. Hey traders, Ivan from Global Prime here. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, a comment below, and remember, subscribe to the channel and click the bell button to get notified of the next video update. And whenever you're ready to join my course and the mentor room that I run, then be sure to click the link below, sign up, and I'll do my absolute best to take your trading to the next level. See you on the inside.